garbage, trash. That's what your recommendations are. Absolute travesty and a crime against humanity. A lot of people, including me, say, hey, I want to scratch that Hollow Knight itch while I wait for Silksong. What games should I play? And oh my god, your suggestions are fucking awful. So I'm here to teach you how to do it right. Papa Primacon is gonna tell you about 3 video games that you could play to scratch that very specific Hollow Knight itch that no other games will give you. Because you're so garbage! Goes without saying that this list is completely objective and a personal attack on you and your entire family, so please make sure to comment about that below. But I see this happen so much. Play other video games, Primacon. Primacon, you dumb bitch. Just play other video games. Stop milking Silksong and waiting for it so actively. Why don't you play other video games? And then they recommend you Dead Cells. They recommend you fucking Yap Souls. Or, God forbid, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And fucking Rain World. Go play Rain World if you want to scratch that Hollow Knight itch. Oh, what's that? You want to go on a vacation to Peru? I've just the thing for you, buddy. How about you go take a hike to Walmart? I heard they have a 2-for-1 sale. What are you talking about? Those games have nothing to do with each other, and clearly those people don't understand what makes Hollow Knight special and why people enjoy Hollow Knight. The thing is, what you're looking for in Hollow Knight, you may not find that in many indie games at all. There's a reason people think that Silksong will not be announced at an indie showcase because it'll outshine any other video game. Why does Silksong have so much hype and anticipation, but no other indie game in that genre does come close to it at all? Why? Because it is special. What makes it so special? And I want to talk about that. Exploration. Exploration is key to Hollow Knight. Good exploration and level design that connects and loop back into each other. The classic going a long way and then looping around all the way back to where you started without realizing it, and that sensational feeling you get when you figure out, holy fuck, I came back to this location that I recognize. It all loops back and you form a mental map of the whole world. The world feels connected. Exploration feels handcrafted. It makes sense to explore the world either in the order the developer wants you to, or to just go off the beaten path and do your own thing. Crafting your own adventure through the world. Exploration is key when it comes to enjoying Hollow Knight. So the games have to have that in common. Difficult combat. I like challenge. I like to bash my head on a boss till I fucking win. And the crazy thing about Hollow Knight is when it was new and people were bad at the game, it was known to be fucking tough. That was one of the selling points of Hollow Knight. I remember very, very vividly back in like 2018 that Hollow Knight is a fucking brutal game. Mantis Lords, Nightmare King Grim, absolute bitch. All here to slap and clap your cheeks, pure vessel. Hollow Knight boss battles are built around difficulty. Except some exceptions, of course. So none of that pussy baby Ori and the blind Will of the Wisp shit. The game needs to be fucking challenging. And not platform heavy challenging like Celeste. That's not what Hollow Knight is, granted it has Path of Pain. But combat challenge. So we got exploration, we got combat challenge, what else? Japping! Holy fucking shit, this is why I will never play 9 Souls, because god damn it, I did not sign up to play a visual novel with good combat. I signed up to play a Metroidvania with good combat. One thing about Metroidvania is show, don't tell. Castlevania games are good for it. Hollow Knight is brilliant for it. And I don't mean there's no dialogue. Don't get me fucked up. I am not talking about no dialogue. Hollow Knight has a fuck ton of dialogue if you choose to engage with it, but it's completely optional. You can skip past it and just get into the gameplay. So story needs to be 100% optional. The combat that is necessary needs to be very fast and very fluent and very engaging. We do not need to know the lore in storytelling. Lore needs to be there in the background, like Hollow Knight, like Mossbag's lore video. The cryptic lore of Hollow Knight is fun because it's cryptic and mysterious and left to interpretation. They don't go 10 miles explaining every little thing and who everyone is and why they're related and why we should fucking care. I really hate when video games open with 20 minutes of 10 fucking pages long of dialogue. Those three are the pillars, in my opinion, to finding a video game that'll give you the similar sensation that Hollow Knight did. Good exploration, good, crisp, hard, difficult combat, and no yapping or fucking lengthy-ass cutscenes. At the start of the game, especially. Now, I'm not gonna give you a long, comprehensible list of trash. I'll tell you 3 games that scratched my itch for it, and I'll start with the biggest one of them all. Dark Souls. And I'm not talking about Dark Souls 3, or Elden Ring, or Shadow of the Earth bullshit. I mean original Dark Souls. One thing the first game does that no other game comes close to doing is crafting a very intimate world. No one's gonna question you that Dark Souls is a difficult game and you'll find your brutal difficult combat that you're looking for, or that Dark Souls is very cryptic in its storytelling, which is why people like Wati Vidya are super famous in the Souls community, like we have our god Mossbag. Those two things are well known, Souls series are famous for them, but Dark Souls 1 does something special. The world design and exploration. Dark Souls 1 does something which is amazing, where you go on, explore, and you unlock shortcuts which leads you all the way back to Firelink Shrine, which is like your hub area, kind of like Dirt Mountain Hollow Knight. All the things are interconnected, and you can approach the game in different kind of ways. You don't have to go to the same places as everyone else is doing. A lot of areas are accessible in Dark Souls from the very start of the game. When it comes to the Souls series, Dark Souls 1 has a very unique exploration style, which is reminiscent of Hollow Knight and what I believe Hollow Knight took inspiration from. Dark Souls also has the, death run mechanic, where when you die, you have to go back to your place of death to collect all your money. There's a reason people call Hollow Knight the Dark Souls of indie gaming, because it actually does borrow quite heavily from Dark Souls, not just in terms of being difficult. That's very rudimentary to say. Best part about Dark Souls is you can play that game on any platform, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, PC, it doesn't matter. As long as you have a system that can play video games, you can buy Dark Souls Remastered on it and enjoy the game. Game number 2, Metroid Dread. Unfortunately, this one is an exclusive to the Nintendo boys over here, but because Hollow Knight has such a big fandom on Nintendo Switch, I feel like most Hollow Knight fans who are looking for something special like Hollow Knight will be able to play Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread is very special. It is a masterclass in what makes a good 2D Metroidvania game. Exploration? You fucking got it. You'll probably never be lost in Metroid Dread because there's always a way to progress. You have so many places that you have to revisit later on when you get more abilities that beautifully lead into new areas. Exploration in that game is fucking it flows like a river. Game Maker's Toolkit made a really good video about it called Why You Probably Didn't Get Lost in Metroid Dread. It talks about how beautiful the world building in that game is. It's absolutely brilliant. Second, no yap session. You get a fucking quick cutscene of Samus descending to the planet, you jump out of your spaceship, and boom, you're in the game, you're ready to go. It's fucking brilliant. The dialogues you do get are very far apart, and when you do finally get to talk to your robot AI buddy, it's always a nice feeling because it's in a safe room that you found after like treacherous journeys through hell, fighting all kinds of abominations. And one thing Metroid Dread does that's very special and unique is the chase sequences it has. I'm not gonna spoil it at all for you, but you will find certain kind of areas that are not designed for combat, but for chase sequences. It's like what Ori tried to do, but 10 times fucking better. It's more scary than any horror game imaginable. It's something you gotta experience, and you will not get that feeling of dread while watching Let's Plays of it. Metroid Dread, absolute banger, will scratch the Hollow Knight itch for most people. Unfortunately, it's a Switch exclusive. The last game on the list, which is not the Switch exclusive, and which I have the least amount of experience with, but from what I experienced, I could tell that the game was in the right direction of Hollow Knight, Ender Lilies! Ender Lilies is a banger Metroidvania game that's available on all platforms as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is. And it has a sequel that's in early access, or it has a demo, something like that. Again, I'm not too sure with the Ender Lilies sequel lore. But Ender Lilies is amazing. It has this very unique mechanic where you recruit spirits to fight for you. So your character just like flails her arms around and you summon an astral projection of a spirit that does the attack for you, and you can get different kinds of spirits to do different kinds of builds. The game has a massive world for you to explore, a lot of different pathways that you can take, so exploration wise you feel like you will be pretty solid. And from what I played in the game, the difficulty can actually spike up really hard. The game is built around dodging precisely and counter-attacking, figuring out what your enemy is weak to, and figuring out the little moments of punishment that you can deal out to the bosses, the little areas of vulnerability where you can punish. Storytelling is also done just like Hollow Knight, where you have a lot of dialogue, most of which can be skipped, but if you choose to indulge in it, it's very, very interesting, and the world building is really, really curious. You look at it and your brain just goes 100 miles a minute what all the lore implications of this area might be. The game has a very in-depth progression system too, so all the time you're playing the game you will feel like you're improving, progressing, just like in Hollow Knight where you kept upgrading your weapon or kept getting better spells or charms throughout the game. You look at the same kind of feeling of progression and agency in Ender Lilies. So yes, if you are craving another experience like Hollow Knight, don't play fucking roguelikes like Dead Cells or weird cryptic platformers like Rain World where there's no combat or little to no combat. Those games are great, this is not an insult to those games, but they're not what Hollow Knight is. That's so bizarre to recommend them if you're looking for that Hollow Knight itch. Of course, if you're recommending them because the person is just looking to play anything while waiting for Silksong, go for it. But if you want that specific Hollow Knight itch, start with these 3 bangers. Play Dark Souls, play Metroid Dread, play Ender Lilies, and if you guys like this video, I might do some more research and give you another 3 games to play while you wait for Silksong that will scratch that Hollow Knight itch. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. Subscribe to the channel if you did. Primacon, we'll see you tomorrow. Signing out.